Maya was a quiet girl. She did not talk much at school. Other students laughed at her. They said, "She cannot speak English." Maya felt small. She wanted to speak, but her words never came out. Every time she tried, her hands shook. Her face turned red. Her eyes looked down. People thought she was weak, but they were wrong. One day, something happened. Something no one expected. Maya walked to the school stage. 1,000 people were watching. And then she began to speak. In English. Everyone was silent. Even her bullies. Her words were not perfect, but they were strong. They came from her heart. How did this shy, silent girl become so brave? This is her story, and you will never forget it. Hello, and welcome to Tale Sync, a place where you learn English through stories. Today's story is about a girl named Maya. She was shy. She was quiet, but she had a big dream to speak English. This story is emotional, easy to understand, and full of inspiration. It is written in A2 level English, so you can follow it easily. If you are afraid to speak, if you think your English is not good, then this story is for you. Maya will show you that anyone can learn. Even the most silent person can become a speaker. So listen to the full story. At the end, you will learn something powerful, and your English will become better too. Let's begin Maya's journey. Chapter 1: The Girl Who Sat in the Last Row. Maya lived in a small village near the hills. Her house was made of bricks and mud. It had only 2 rooms, a tin roof and 1 small window. Her father was a farmer. Her mother cleaned houses in the town nearby. They didn't have much money, but they had love. Maya was 13 years old. She went to a government school. Every morning, she walked 3 kilometers to reach the school. She carried her old school bag on one shoulder and her dreams in the other. But at school, Maya was silent. She always sat in the last row of the class. She never raised her hand. She never answered questions. She never read aloud. She was scared. Maya's English was weak. She could understand some words, but speaking was hard for her. When the English teacher said, "Maya, please read this sentence," her heart started to beat fast. Her hands felt cold. Her mouth felt dry. Her voice disappeared. One time, she tried to read aloud. "Teach the boy is, are you running?" she said slowly. The class laughed. A boy named Rod shouted, "Madam, she is still in LKG." Everyone laughed louder. Maya felt her face turn red. She looked down at her book. She wanted to cry, but she didn't. She just stayed quiet. After that day, she stopped trying. Maya's pain. At home, she never told her parents what happened at school. Her mother asked, "How was your day?" Maya smiled and said, "Good, Alma." But inside, she felt small and broken. She wanted to speak. She wanted to answer questions. She wanted to be like the smart girls in the front row. But her fear was bigger than her wish. A small light. One day, Maya saw her younger brother watching a video on YouTube. A man was speaking simple English. He said slowly, "My name is John. I am from India. I like to play football." Maya understood every word. She thought, this is not so hard. That night, when everyone slept, Maya took the old phone. It had a broken screen and slow internet, but it worked. She opened YouTube and searched how to speak English. She found many videos. Some were hard, some were easy. But one video had a girl, just like her, speaking slowly in English. Maya smiled. She watched the full video. Then she watched another. And another. A secret beginning. From that day, Maya watched English videos every night. She whispered words with the speaker. My name is Maya. I go to school. I like English. At first, her voice was low, very low, but slowly it became clear. She was still afraid, but she was trying. No one knew about her secret practice. Not her mother, not her teachers, not even her classmates. But something was changing inside Maya. She still sat in the last row, but now she listened more. She watched the teacher's lips when she spoke English. She whispered answers in her notebook. She smiled when she understood new words. Maya was not the same girl anymore. A small test. One day, the English teacher gave homework. Tomorrow, each of you will speak one sentence in English, she said. The whole class made noise. Raj said, Madam, Maya will need 3 days to say one line. Everyone laughed again. Maya said nothing. But that night, she practiced in front of a mirror. She said, My name is Maya. I like to read books. 10 times. 50 times. 100 times. She looked into her own eyes in the mirror. She didn't laugh. She didn't cry. She just practiced. The day came. The next day, students came to the front one by one. Some were confident. Some were scared. Some forgot their lines. Then it was Maya's turn. The teacher called, Maya, your turn. She stood up slowly. Her legs were shaking. Her hands were cold. She looked at the class. Everyone stared. She took a deep breath and said, My name is Maya. I like to read books. Silence. Then the teacher smiled. Good job, Maya, she said. No one laughed. No one clapped. But inside Maya's heart, something clapped. She had spoken. For the first time, and nothing bad happened. End of chapter 1. Maya was still the quiet girl. But now, she was also the brave girl. And this was just the beginning. Chapter 2. A Voice in the Dark. After the small success in class, Maya felt different. She didn't smile much. She didn't talk a lot. But something changed inside her. She now believed, maybe I can speak English. That one line, my name is Maya, I like to read books, was not big for others. But for Maya, it was everything. The library that no one used. One day, Maya passed the school library. It was a small room with old books. Most students never went there. But Maya walked in. There were books in English. Simple books. Storybooks. They were dusty, but they were beautiful. She picked one. It had big letters and pictures. She read the title slowly. The Lion and the Mouse. She sat in the corner. She read one line, then another. She didn't understand every word, but she didn't stop. Each day after class, she went to the library. She read alone. Sometimes she whispered the lines. Sometimes she copied words in her notebook. One day, the librarian came and said, You come here every day. Do you like English? Maya nodded. That was the first time she smiled at someone in school. The announcement. One morning during assembly, the principal spoke. Next month, we will have our annual function. There will be dance, music, and an English speech competition. The school cheered. Students clapped. Maya's hands did not clap. Her heart beat fast. English speech, she thought. She felt scared, but also excited.
She wanted to try.
Laughter again. In class, the English teacher asked, "Who wants to give a speech?" Raj raised his hand. A few smart students did too. Maya looked at her desk. She wanted to raise her hand, but her fingers didn't move. Raj looked back at her and laughed. "Maya, you want to speak in front of a school?" Everyone laughed again. That evening, Maya cried under her blanket. She felt small again, but the next morning she did something brave. She went to the teacher's room. "Ma'am, can I try this speech?" she asked very softly. The teacher looked surprised but smiled. "Yes, Maya, you can try." The real work begins. The teacher gave her a short speech to practice. It was called My Dream. Maya read it line by line. She didn't know many words, but she looked them up. She listened to their sounds online. She wrote the speech again in her notebook 5 times. She said it aloud in her room 10 times. She spoke in front of her mirror 20 times. Every night, she practiced. My dream is to become a teacher. I want to help children learn. I believe that hard work can change everything. Her voice was still soft, but it was no longer broken. An unexpected helper. One day, she was in the library again. The librarian came and said, "You're working hard, Maya. I have an idea." He gave her a small speaker. "Use this. Connect it to your phone. Listen to how words sound. Speak with them." Maya's eyes became wide. She had never used a speaker before. That night, she connected the speaker. The voice was loud and clear. "My dream is to become a teacher." She spoke with it. Again and again. Her dog barked. Her brother laughed. But Maya kept speaking. The mind game. Sometimes, she still felt scared. She thought, what if I forget my speech? What if people laugh? But then she wrote a line on paper and stuck it to her wall. No one can stop me except me. Each morning, she read that line. It gave her strength. The final list. 1 week before the function, the teacher put up a list on the wall. Names of students who were selected for the English speech competition. Maya walked slowly to the board. Her heart beat fast. Her eyes searched the list. There it was. Maya, Class 8A. She stood still. She read her name again. She smiled. A big, wide smile. The stage is waiting. In the next few days, Maya practiced on stage. It was big. The mic was tall. The lights were bright. She stood there, looking at the empty chairs. She whispered, "My dream is to become a teacher." She imagined people clapping. She imagined her mother crying with joy. She was still afraid, but she was ready to try. End of chapter 2. The silent girl had stepped forward. The stage was waiting. The world was watching. And Maya was becoming someone new. Chapter 3. The Big Day. The sun was bright. The school ground was full of chairs, banners, and colors. Today was the annual function. Students wore uniforms. Teachers walked with clipboards. Parents were arriving. A big stage stood in front of the crowd. Microphones, lights, and speakers were ready. Behind the stage, Maya stood quietly. Her hands were cold. Her legs were shaking. She held her notebook tightly. In the notebook was her speech. My dream is to become a teacher. The wait. Maya's name was number 7 on the list. 6 students had to speak before her. She stood behind the curtain and listened. Student 1. Good morning, everyone. Everyone clapped. Student 2. My name is Priya. Loud cheers. Maya looked at the crowd. There were so many people. Maybe 1,000. She thought, what if I fall? What if I forget? She looked at her notebook again. Her eyes read each word like it was her last hope. Raj strikes again. Suddenly, Raj walked past her. He looked at her and laughed. Are you really going to speak? Don't cry on stage, he said. Maya felt her face go red. She wanted to say something back, but she stayed quiet. Her hands gripped the notebook harder. But deep inside, her heart whispered, I didn't come this far to stop now. A touch of hope. Just before her turn, the English teacher came near her. She smiled and said, I'm proud of you, Maya. Just speak slowly. You'll do well. She gently placed her hand on Maya's shoulder. That small touch felt like magic. Maya nodded. It was time. On the stage, the host announced, Next, we have Maya from Class A2. She will give a speech in English on her dream. The crowd clapped. Maya walked slowly onto the stage. The mic looked tall. The lights were strong. The faces in the crowd looked big, blurry, and endless. She stood still. She looked at the mic, then at her notebook. Then she closed her notebook.
Yes.
She closed it. She took a deep breath and said, Good morning, respected principal, teachers, and friends. Her voice shook a little, but it came out. The crowd became quiet. My name is Maya. Today I will talk about my dream. The speech that lit hearts. Maya looked straight ahead. My dream is to become a teacher. I live in a small village. I go to a government school. I love English, but I was very afraid to speak. I sat in the last row. I never raised my hand. One day, the teacher asked me to read. I was scared. I made mistakes. Everyone laughed. The crowd listened. Even Raj looked surprised. But one day, I watched an English video. The person spoke slowly. I understood. That day changed me. I started watching more videos. I practiced in front of the mirror. Every night, I learned new words. And today, I am standing here in front of all of you. I still make mistakes, but I am not afraid now. Maya paused. Tears filled her eyes. My dream is to become a teacher so I can help students who are afraid, like me. Thank you. The crowd reacts. There was silence for 1 second. Then,
Clap, 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 clap.
loud clapping filled the air. Some teachers stood up. Some parents wiped their eyes. Even the principal smiled. And Raj, he looked down at his shoes. Maya stood still. She smiled for the first time on stage. She had done it. Her mother's eyes. In the crowd, Maya's mother stood in the last row. She was wearing her old green sari. She didn't understand much English, but she understood one thing. Her daughter was shining. She had tears in her eyes. She looked up at the sky and whispered, Thank you. A name in the air. After the speeches, the principal came to the mic. Today I saw something special, he said. One student spoke from the heart. She showed courage and honesty. The first prize for the English speech goes to Maya. The crowd cheered again. Maya walked to the stage. Her teacher gave her a medal and a certificate. The medal was not gold, but for Maya, It was more than gold. End of Chapter 3. The girl who sat in the last row. The girl who once cried in silence had become the girl who spoke in English in front of 1,000 people. But this is not the end of Maya's journey. It's just the beginning. Chapter 4. The girl everyone noticed. Maya sat in class, holding her medal. Her friends looked at her with wide eyes. You were amazing, Maya. I never knew you could speak like that. Your English was so clear. Maya smiled. She still felt nervous, but something had changed. She wasn't invisible anymore. A new visitor. The next morning, Maya's English teacher came to class with a smile. Maya, someone wants to meet you, she said. A man in a white shirt stood at the door. He had a big camera and a press badge. Hello, I'm from Local Hero News. I heard about your speech. Can I ask you a few questions? Maya was shocked. Me? Why? The man smiled. You spoke in English from the heart. People want to know your story. Her first interview. They sat on a bench outside the school. The reporter turned on his camera. What is your name? Maya. Why did you start learning English? Because I wanted to speak and not stay silent anymore. What is your dream? I want to become a teacher. I want to help children who are afraid like I was. He nodded and smiled. Thank you, Maya. You are brave. The interview lasted 10 minutes, but Maya felt like she had spoken for hours. Maya on TV. That evening, Maya sat with her mother on their old wooden bench. They had no sofa, no fridge, no fancy lights. But they had one small TV. At 7 p.m., the news started. Suddenly, next, a story of a young girl from a small village who won hearts with her English speech. Maya's photo appeared. She covered her mouth in shock. Then she heard her voice. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. That's my daughter, she whispered. Letters and smiles. In the next few days, something new happened. Students from other schools sent her letters. Some said, You gave me hope. I'm also scared of speaking, but now I will try. You are my hero. Even Raj, the boy who once laughed at her, came to her during lunch. He looked nervous. Maya, I'm sorry. I was wrong. You were brave. Maya looked at him and said, It's okay. I forgive you. Raj smiled. A big invitation. 1 week later, the school principal called Maya to his office. She was scared. She had never been to the principal's office before. But the principal was smiling. Maya, the education department saw your video. They want you to speak at the district youth event. It will be held at the town hall. Almost 2,000 people will attend. Maya froze. T2,000? Yes. And you will be the youngest speaker. Maya's hands shook. She said nothing. The principal smiled again. You don't have to say yes now. Think about it. Talking to the stars. That night, Maya sat on the roof of her small house. The stars were bright. She looked up and whispered, Can I really speak in front of 2,000 people? She closed her eyes. She remembered. The old book in the library. Her first English word. Her teacher's kind smile. The medal on her shelf. Then she said out loud, Yes, I will do it. The town hall stage. The day of the event arrived. This stage was even bigger. There were lights, cameras, and news reporters everywhere. Maya stood behind the curtain, just like before. But this time, she was not afraid. She remembered the girl who once sat in the last row. The girl who couldn't say hello. Now, she was about to speak in front of thousands. Her final speech. Maya walked to the mic. She looked at the crowd. Some people wore suits. Some were students.
Some were teachers.
But to her, they were all just listeners. She began. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maya. I am from a small village school. 1 year ago, I could not say one full sentence in English. Today, I stand here because I did not give up. I made mistakes. I was scared, but I practiced every day. I want to tell every girl, every boy who is afraid to speak. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. Thank you. Standing ovation. The hall stood up. Claps echoed across the room. The district officer came forward and said, Maya, you are the voice of many. You are the future. Maya smiled.
Tears rolled down her cheeks.
But they were not tears of fear. They were tears of pride. Final message. Maya went back to her village. She didn't forget where she came from. She started a small class for girls who wanted to learn English. She gave them old books, simple words, and big dreams. From silence to strength. Maya was once a silent girl. Afraid. Invisible. Forgotten. But with courage, kindness, and a little help, she became a voice the world could not ignore. Thank you for watching. This was the story of Maya, the silent girl who found her voice. If you like this story, like the video, share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe to Tales Sync for more emotional English learning stories. Comment below. What is your English learning dream? Let's support each other. Until then, take care and keep learning, keep growing. Goodbye.